Morning guys, Mark Ferrasci with ProTech Dog Training. This goes out in response to Robert Cabral's recent video that he just did this morning or sometime last night. He posted it in regards to some folks that are out there really pushing heavy on their agenda in regards to purely positive and force-free. And if there's the difference, and there's two camps in the dog training world for the most part. There's purely positive, force-free, that only believe in giving a cookie to a dog and only giving them a cookie and or robbing them of the reward, which we call negative punishment. And that's how they deal with it. And anything else is taboo to them. So any tools, pinch collars, anything that's an aversive, a correction, they are anti. And they preach this with a vehemence, with a passion, and they demonize our side, and that's all they do in public. And their whole agenda is to preach this holier-than-thou attitude and to demonize the other side and to say that corrections are wrong and paint the picture that we're abusive to dogs, and it's ridiculous. I've dealt with it for years, okay? It's not just something that's new. It's gotten worse and worse over the years by virtue that we've just tried to stay out of their way and keep our mouth shut because they're painting the picture that we're abusive and we're negative on the dogs, and that's not true, and we know that. They're only using one quadrant, which means cookies and negative punishment, and they're so overbearing with this attitude that they'll go out and they'll see somebody with a pinch collar on them and they'll come over and they'll just demonize them and make them feel small and put them through the ringer, and their whole agenda is what they believe in. It's almost like religion. I mean, it's ridiculous. And reality and truth is that dog training is an art and a science. There's a certain amount of science in it. There's a certain amount of science that they put out that is true by virtue of the fact that that is part of the same stuff that we use, right? We use cookies, we use motivational tools, we use toys, we use all kinds of things to incorporate in our training programs, but we also understand that all animals on God's green earth, including us, learn from consequences. It's a fact. It has nothing to do with what you want to say science. If you want to get in it, make yourself feel important because you're advocating science and dog training. Believe me, purely balanced dog trainers have a lot more understanding, most of them, a lot more understanding of the real, true hardwiring of a dog and what fulfills a dog's psychological needs and what makes them tick than any purely positive, because they never apply it. So how can they know? All they can do is picture in their mind how abusive that is and how mean that person is and negatize something that saves thousands and thousands of dogs' lives, especially when it gets into aggression, okay? When you get into aggression, the dog is manifesting that aggressive tendencies for many, many different reasons, but you almost have to use some kind of aversive to show the dog not to do that and then redirect them. And there's all kinds of methods and tricks and all kinds of things that we will use, but consequences are a big part of all animals learning. We all learn the same way, guys. In a nutshell, we might have different drives, we might have different things that make us tick, but we all learn from consequences, positive and negative, right? And it's not hard for me to understand. I can explain it and go over it, but I'm not here to do that. What I'm here to do is to make you folks realize that are uneducated, that don't have a clue. Don't let yourself be affected by somebody else trying to make you feel like you're being mean to your animal, and that their agenda and their point of view is correct point of view by virtue of what they're preaching to you. Thousands of animals are put down because these people don't have the skill to overcome what they need to overcome in dealing with aggression. They have no clue on how to apply an aversive in the first place, and they don't have a feel for it. It doesn't mean that I need to be abusive to the dog. No, it means that I need to know how to apply these things in the right way so that the dog can learn and grow and get through it, and you save the animal. And that's the whole thing that we're advocating as purely balanced dog trainers, that somebody like me, somebody like Robert, with our philosophies and our beliefs, can save that dog. That dog does not have to be killed, okay? A lot of the time. That doesn't mean that that's not always going to be the case. There's many reasons for aggression. Some of it's temperament. Some of it may be that the dog's got a screw loose. But we as professionals, knowing our trade, will be able to evaluate that and give you a lot better assessment than that person that's purely positive, that's afraid of aggression, has no understanding of it because they don't live in that world. And to them, here's what they're going to do. Oh, you need to put that dog down. And right away, that dog will, and then because the customer doesn't know any different, and they're lording themselves over that client, that customer, to a point where they're making them feel like they know what they're talking about, and that person listens to them. Veterinarians are another ones that are a big problem in this area because they have no clue of behavior as well. They're taught for medical. They're not a psychologist. Somebody like me, I may not hold a certificate of dog psychology and all that, but it doesn't mean that I don't know the hardwiring and the dog in depth. Why do I know that? Thousands and thousands of dogs that I've worked. Since I was 12 years old, I've been in the trenches. Eat, breathe, sleep dogs, living in the back of the kennel, waking up, scooping poop, dealing with dogs in a mass amount. I've worked in kennels with over 150, 200 dogs in a kennel. Eat, breathe, for many, many years. Slept in the back of the kennel at Caesar's place for 2 years. I was with him, right? Eat, breathe, and sleep dogs to a saturation that is very uncommon. There's very few trainers that can say they have that type of saturation with a dog. So, in a nutshell, stop listening to these purely positive people and trying to demonize you and make you feel like you're wrong because you have a pinch collar on the dog, or you have being told by a balanced trainer like me to do certain things, right? And the bottom line is, when a dog starts manifesting aggression tendencies of aggression, there's many, many different reasons for it, but most of it really gets down to your education and your understanding of it, and that's what a good trainer is there to do, educate you and to save that dog, right? It doesn't mean that I can save every dog, and as a lot of times I'll turn the customer down. I don't have the time, I don't have the whatever it may be. But reality and truth, that other side, that purely positive crowd, that force-free crowd, they're living in a world of almost like being a fanatic with an agenda that they believe in, to the point where they're just preaching it to the point where, and then they're doing this and they're affecting society, and then you as a person that has no clue, that doesn't understand it, listens to them and goes down and has your dog put down. Think about it. How many thousands of dogs are being put down every year because of these people, right? It hurts me to the core. But all I can do is try to put out my opinions and what I advocate and what I believe in, and hopefully somebody will hear it and they will realize, if you have a dog that's showing dog aggression, do your R&D, make sure that the person that you're going to has plenty of experience behind them. And then if they are a balanced trainer, you're a lot better served with a balanced trainer than you are a purely positive trainer, because a purely positive trainer can't do what I can do, okay? Understanding how to mix positive and negative, reward-based training with food, toys, all kinds of things that I'll do to recondition an animal. I just got done with one, and I have a really good feeling in my heart. If I can get the customer to follow through with what they need to on their side, I will have saved a dog that otherwise would have been put down. He was a perfect example of a dog that would have went into, and if he would have found a purely positive trainer and a force-free trainer that would have got a hold of that customer and filled their head with a bunch of poppycock, right? That dog would have lost its life, okay? Because that purely positive trainer couldn't have handled Gunzo, right? Gunzo was a very aggressive dog that would have eaten me for the first 2 or 3 days. Had him in a muzzle, slowly did my whole program. That dog has a chance at life now, right? He has a good chance at overcoming that problem and being a very worthwhile animal for that owner, right? But imagine what would have happened if that owner would have went to the wrong type of a trainer with that type of an attitude, and they would have been told that they couldn't do anything for him, that dog needs to be put down, right? It angers me is what it does. It makes me mad. I get so angry at these people that are, in my opinion, are idiots, right? They have an agenda. They almost are like the Republicans that want to come out and preach all their stuff, and reality when it gets down to it, they are so flawed with their ways of thinking and understanding that it really has become a problem. It's torn our country apart because of what's going on in our society right now in regards to the politics. But I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm here to talk about purely positive, force-free versus balanced trainers, and how we do things with a lot more tools in our tool bag, a lot more versatility. I come at things in any way I possibly can to save that animal. And it's not all aversive, believe me. There's many, many things that we can do, but the biggest thing is that I have a lot better understanding of that animal to the core, where I can get in that dog's head and be able to understand where that dog's head's at and where that aggression is coming from, and then tailor something that's specific for that individual dog. And a lot of times there's a lot of similarities in it. There really is. Most of the time, whether you realize it or not, it's owner caused. It's owner driven. And again, Robert was talking about in his video how these people gave him, he read a letter that they sent. This isn't the first time we've heard all this, right? It's very common for people to be swayed by this opinion coming from the purely positive side to a point where they end up feeling and thinking that they know what they're doing and they don't want to hurt their dog, so we can't, and then they right away fall into that trap, and boom, that's where the behavior comes from, and manifests. It gets worse and worse because they're not using tools that they need to, and or philosophies and slants in the training that we will as balanced dog trainers. All right, enough said. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training. Please do your research. Find a good balanced dog trainer. Make sure they have the skill under their belt. Not all balanced trainers are good. Some of them don't have the experience. They hang up a shingle and go puffed up, right? But if somebody like me or Robert or somebody that knows what they're doing is much more able to help you and to save a dog's life than you will ever get from that other side, right? So it is what it is. I thank you very much. You guys have a good day, and hopefully you're learning something, right? Watch Robert's video. Listen to what he has to say. Listen to what I have to say, and step back and think about it. You don't have to put your dog down most of the time. There are times that we have to, but let somebody like me or Robert or somebody that's experienced balanced dog trainer help you assess that animal and figure out where that aggression is coming from, and then educate you so you recondition that dog and you save that dog's life, right? I always like to tell people I've saved thousands of dogs' lives. I just got done, and I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, we're not done yet. I hope that I've saved the dog in Gunzo. Gunzo's a good dog. There's no reason that dog needs to be put down other than ignorance, all right? All right, Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training, signing off, guys. You have a good day. My 2 cents worth about a half a penny in today's day and age. Talk to you later.